Hey y'all, it's the Krypton Critics, and we're here to review Doctor Strange from 2016. Mario is here, Danielle's here, and
I'm
newcomer
here.
Joseph is here. He's a virgin to this. So, Mario, what do you think of the movie?
I thought it was alright. I didn't think it was as spectacular as people made it seem to be. Visually, it is spectacular, but as far as like the storyline and the characters, I wasn't really drawn into it.
And you're not drawn to any of the characters?
No, there's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of people complain about Marvel being owned by Disney because Disney made things very kiddish and cartoonish, and I think it really. I didn't really see it too much in other movies. It'd be like hints of it here and there, but this movie, it seemed like a lot of the jokes were really um, elementary. They lacked depth.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
was shit that you will always see coming. So I don't know. This is the first Marvel movie that really felt like, oh yeah, I forgot this is owned by Disney. It felt very like when the Cape was beating up the dude. That I don't know. That didn't do anything for me. It's like, oh, I guess this is Scooby Doo all over again. You know, it felt like I was watching a cartoon, which isn't necessarily bad, but I guess it's not what I was expecting from a live action movie.
So, what do you think, Danielle?
I completely agree with Mario. However, I do have to say that the crowd that this movie is geared toward, that kind of idea is essential for them because that's what draws them to it. As far as the age group goes, it appeals to them for that reason. Um, and even then, it's the concept of the story is great. I like it. Some of the scenes in there was fantastic. My favorite part was when the cape was all caressing his face. He was all like, oh, daddy. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, so I think the story was good. The characters were relatable in some ways because you got to see certain sides to them that you thought that the movie wouldn't even have time for. Um, and even close to the end, you started to realize how deep the cuts go as far as the characters and how they feel about certain things or what they're going through. I think it was pretty good.
Joseph?
Well, I'm not as technical as you guys, so I don't know the right terminology to use. But it was a great fucking movie. Excuse
Okay.
my language. Oh, I say.
We spare all the time on this show.
Oh well, shit. Well, I thought it was a great movie because, I mean, the story. Okay, the whole storyline. It was he's a doctor and he just so happens to go into the mystical arts. I mean, I understand it's a journey and whatnot, but it's a great fucking journey. Like the visual effects. I thought everything was great. I think they could have taken their time like they did with Harry Potter, but you know, different company, whatever. I think it was still a good movie. Like, I don't know. I just liked it. I mean, I don't think it was kind of elementary. The jokes were kind of cheesy, kind of cheap jokes, but at the same time, it was very entertaining. Like for a simple-minded person like me. Um,
Okay.
I mean, a person that doesn't really take it too far, too technical, that doesn't really think about.
Yeah, you just go there to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that it's a great movie. I think it was really good. Marvel did their thing with it.
I really enjoyed this movie. It's nowhere near my favorite Marvel, recent MCU films. That will go to Captain America: Civil War. That's my favorite one. I didn't like dive bomb into like the amount of emotion I had for that movie. That doesn't mean that this is bad. Not every movie, you need to feel like you're about to cry. The only times I felt like I was about to cry is when they reference something that that me as a nerd knows what it is. Like they mentioned Dormammu and the Dark Dimension and the Agamotto, and hell, we even see the bands of Cyttorak. I'm like, that's pretty awesome, and the reason I appreciate it so much is people are finally going to know what the fuck that means. It's finally on the big screen, and it's always nice to see it come to life. You know what I'm saying? Like when I saw Spider-Man show up in Civil War, I cried because we could finally see this fucking character with other like Marvel superheroes. I've been waiting a long time to finally see him on the big screen with others because Sony, wanted to hold on to that as much as they can until they got hacked and a whole bunch of other shit happened to them. But yeah, I really do like Doctor Strange in the film, the character himself. I was expecting him to be even worse. In the comics, he's even more of a dick. He's actually far more relatable in this when he started off in this version compared to the comic version. And I wasn't a fan of how Dormammu looked. It's not necessarily that's why it's different, but it just looked really off to me. It looked more like a data meshing video than anything else. It just looked. Yes, it looked trippy, but I'm just like, what?
Oh, you're talking about the big purple thing?
Yeah, the one with purple eyes.
I thought he was freaking awesome. That whole loop thing, fucking awesome, fucking genius.
Yeah, I really did like that part of
That was awesome. It's like, you can't kill me. Watch me. Bam, I'm back. That's awesome. Who wouldn't love to do that?
Yeah, and him doing that, he proves how, he is progressively becoming selfless.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't always have to be about him, like Ancient One said like 15 times in this movie.
I was disappointed she died.
This is spoiler review. I'm gonna put that in the title. Spoiler.
Oh.
And all that. You're fine. You're fine. All spoilers are galore. Because Mario, with me and him, he can't keep spoilers to himself.
Sorry, you.
You're fine. You're fine. Now, one of the weird things I thought about the Ancient One is Tilda Swinton and Marvel got a lot of flack for casting Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. Ancient One was originally a Tibetan man.
Right.
No.
I remember that.
No.
Yeah, and I remember there's a scene in the movie where we see like an Asian guy, and Doctor Strange thinks the Ancient One is him, and
It's like,
Yeah.
it's a white one.
like part of it is like, yeah, that is a poke in the joke for us, not for them. But at the same time, it almost sounds like it almost feels like you're trying to be politically correct, but you just sound more racist being politically correct than just not mentioning it
It's like
or not
poking fun at a problem that hasn't been resolved ever.
What's the problem?
Like
okay, the character is very Asian in the comics,
Mm-hmm.
and the place with a white person, and that's been going on in Hollywood for the past
Decades.
75 years.
Yeah,
Since it
or
started.
think about the movie we saw the preview for, the Wall movie.
The Great Wall
With-
with Matt
but-
Damon.
Oh
Matt
yeah.
But think about how problematic that is. Imagine if somebody created a character that rose through black society, and came out on top of black society, but was white. It's the same thing they do over and over with Asian characters. Basically, Matt Damon is a star of a movie about the Great Wall of China.
But they've done that to us several times.
I know, that's what I'm saying,
but
but
that's
that's
the
a problem.
funny part is that they, in that scene when she was standing there in front of him, and Doctor Strange kept looking at the Asian guy, thinking that was the Ancient One, but it turns out that it was her, and he's like. And it was the movie, and that's the thing, is like the movie really shouldn't have poked fun at that because they know that that's a problem, but they don't actually put the effort in to fix it.
Yeah.
Now, a movie.
Even just the idea that Doctor Strange himself is kind of problematic because you have this white dude that comes in and within a couple of months or whatever masters this craft that originates in East Asia.
Mhm.
It's like, so you tell
Yeah,
me
they actually moved it to Nepal. It was in Tibet at first, but they didn't want to piss off China and Tibet, which has a lot of pockets for Marvel movies. That's why they moved Mandarin to the Middle East.
But basically, they would take this old East Asian art form. They do it in martial arts a lot. Like that's what people were talking about. What is it? Iron Fist is a white dude that basically learns East Asian martial arts and becomes some master. It's like how many times have we had a story where basically white people come over and then master your shit. It's kind of like they colonialize your culture in film.
You know, it was now the writer. You know, rest in peace, Steve Ditko. He also is the co-creator of Spider-Man. He started off in his head even worse, even more offensive than that, because before he made Doctor Strange, he made a character basically with the same exact origin, named Dr. Droom.
That did the same thing.
Basically the same thing. You know, white guy gets messed up and goes to East Asia, learns from an ancient Asian master, learns magic. They renamed him Druid, but back in the day, back in the 50s when they made him, when he gained magic, he also became Oriental. Like, he's like, oh, my eyes, I have this mustache, oh my gosh.
Oh my god, really?
And
so
subconsciously,
he became the wise
and
one.
Guess what?
What kind of
Steve
shit is
Ditko
that?
not only wrote Doctor Strange for his first issue and drew him, but subconsciously he was drawing Doctor Strange a little bit Oriental, just a little bit. But over time, they drew him more white. They established, no, he was never Asian. Get that out of your head. That was a mistake Steve made. He's in the corner right now. Just very interesting that how that happened. You know, he grew up, you know, in the 30s and thinking that was, you know, okay, you know, probably like a laugh, you know, like, oh, look at this hokey story. But if you wrote that now, you know, people would lose their fucking mind and put hashtags all over Twitter saying that you are, you know, not only a amoral, like, gentrifier, but, you know, you're a bigot and all kinds of things. People say a lot of dumb shit.
People are very touchy, especially when it comes to, I mean, I understand the whole, you know, you taking, basically it started here and you just saying a whole nother, basically a white person just took over the movie and where it doesn't belong there. But at the same time, I think that it makes it more interesting. I think it makes the movie a little bit more interesting. I mean, okay, it started here, but at the same time, you're not the only people that do it.
Right,
you know,
right.
You're not. It might have started here, but who's to say who was here when it did start?
My only thing is, it's just the same thing over and over. Like,
Yeah,
why
it's
can't you
just-
put a
it's
Chinese
repetitive.
guy and
It's
Why not a black guy?
and a
Well,
black guy?
well, we
and
did because Baron Mordo was supposed to be white, and Chiwetel Ejiofor is playing him.
I don't know.
The black dude.
The black dude.
Okay, he was
Yeah.
awesome. I think.
Yeah.
He was originally.
I like him more than Caecilius.
It was messed up that.
I don't.
Oh,
The main villain is
I want to say the whole movie. I can't.
say it.
It's just,
Like,
it's
We're
simple.
spoiling it anyway.
You know, Caecilius. You know, the biggest problem I think that, you know, if you had built him up before, like, I mean, hell, just adding like just scenes him in the past adds something. Like, I remember they did that for Kung Fu Panda, the first one. They had the villain Tai Lung, and they showed a little bit of his past. It wasn't perfect rounding out, but it gave just a little bit of a hint, like, you know,
Depth.
pinch of dimension. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, what were you about to say, Joseph?
I don't even remember.